Hey everyone, Rich Monroe here, B&B Investing. Thanks for jumping on this week. Super excited to have two friends of mine on, Ivan and Chris, and we're going to be talking about the very cool, interesting projects that they're working on with hotel condo conversions. So with that, Ivan, if you want to give a quick background, and then we'll go to Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Rich. Thank you for having us here. Hello, everyone. My name is Ivan Alarcon, and I am one of the partners at Connectia BCIA Capital. So basically, real estate development company, and what we've been focusing on lately is the hotel condo conversion space. I've been with the company for about 5 years, and now prior to that, I was very involved in hospitality, hotels, restaurants. So I bring that experience to the table, but really, really excited about this opportunity that we have to offer to every investor out there. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Chris?
Thank you, Rich. My name is Chris Alexander. I'm a realtor with Virtual Properties. Been licensed for quite a while, well over 10 years. Worked with investors, um, residential and commercial real estate. And I found out about this project actually through Ivan's partner, who is a great realtor that I follow on social media, and happy to be helping them with this project.
All right, very cool. So, what was it that got you guys down this road? It sounds like you've been doing this for many years, and how did this get started?
Yeah, so the founding partner for Connectia, he has over 30 years of real estate development in the United States experience, and so he brings a wealth of knowledge, and we were able to find a very specific niche that takes which is the hotel condo conversion space. So in essence, to dive a little bit into it, we take a complete unit, meaning the hotel, and we do a conversion of every single one of the units within the hotel into condominiums. But the key differentiator with us, because there are other products in the market that do that conversion, but what we do is we continue to manage the property as a hotel. So the guest experience basically continues to be that of a hotel, but the difference is that instead of one group or one investor, we have the ability to offer the investment to many people. In cases of these hotels, whether it's 100 units, 130, so we have the ability to have 130 investors, or multiple depending on what they acquire. So that's where we saw a very important avenue where we were able to offer a much more accessible investment to people all over the world, not only here locally, but also internationally. And we began to craft that opportunity, incorporating management company, incorporating the whole ability to consult the investors from beginning to end, from opening entities, opening bank accounts, through purchase agreements, and then obviously the management of the investment. The whole idea was to create an opportunity that not only would create a good ROI for the investor, but something that was truly a passive income type of investment, where the investor, whether they were local or far away, they didn't have to get involved if they didn't need to. It was something that literally they would just sit back and try to collect. So when we saw that avenue, we just kept on diving and diving. We saw that there was a huge opportunity within this niche. And as we continue to grow, well, here we are, venturing out and making these connections and try to really get the opportunity out there to everyone, because it's hard to find these types of investments at this ticket price, for investors, whether you're a first time or a savvy investor. We want to make sure it's available to everybody.
Very cool, very cool. So just so that everybody's clear, the type of hotel that you guys are focused on are kind of, what I would describe as kind of the 3-star Motel 6 type, off the major expressway where folks are traveling. Typically, we'll have a swimming pool and possibly a restaurant. But what led you to that particular asset class in terms of that part of the hotel business? And those of you that are jumping on, feel free to throw in the comments that you can hear us okay. I just want to make sure that were coming through loud and clear. And then feel free to throw any questions in the comments as well, and we'll definitely try to get to that before we finish off. But yeah, if you would respond to that, if you.
Yeah, so that's a very important question. Obviously, with some of the other products that are out there on the market, we saw that they were really focusing on the higher end, but there really wasn't anything, in the mid tier or even lower. So our focus was always a very strategic purchase when we came to the hotel. So obviously, distressed or bad management or something that was not functioning, where we were able to come in with our own brand. Because we come with a lot of experience in the hotel industry and management of such, that would allow us to create a boutique type brand and really elevate that experience. You mentioned Motel 6, so that is actually some of the types of hotels that we're looking for, because we know that we can take that structure, give it a complete new face, and incorporate exceptional management and amenities and that new look, which is very focused on the minimalistic, modern, very clean type of look, and able to take that 1 to 2 star hotel into a 3-star hotel, which would differentiate us and be able to get a higher return on our nightly rates. So I think that's where the niche was versus some of these higher end products that are out there where it was just it was not accessible for everybody.
No, that makes sense. Chris, let me hear your take. You've been in real estate for many years, and you've kind of jumped on and partnered with Ivan to kind of get the word out about this. What are your thoughts about the aspect of this interesting niche that they're going after?
Well, I want to mention this to the realtors out there. There's an opportunity too, if you're working with investors and maybe want to add something like this to their portfolio. Certainly, there's an opportunity for you to benefit as well. So definitely share this with your clients. I think it's a great niche because, like I said, it's passive income. For the people doing Airbnbs, maybe have a few properties, they can add something like this, and it's it's a seamless addition because it's not something that they have to be hands-on with. So I think it's a really great opportunity for those particular investors.
All right, very cool. And so you typically, when you guys are buying these assets or these hotels, your preference, it seems, at least from your history, is you want it to be distressed. You want it to need kind of a full makeover, because then you've got a clean slate essentially to do your upgrades and your kind of modernistic way that you set it up. Is that right?
Yeah, that is actually correct. We typically look for that because we can give it the complete new face, a new look, and it really just differentiates that type of hotel into what our boutique brand is, and that just brings added value to the investment, and it helps appreciate the asset, which at the end of the day is a benefit for everybody.
Got it. And so how many of these projects have you guys already done?
So we have several projects that have been worked over over the several years. Currently, the One Way brand has 2 hotels that are functioning in Savannah and Brunswick, and of course, I urge people to visit if you're interested to kind of take a look at it. Obviously, let us know so we can coordinate that with the respective on-site people, and that way we can give you a full tour. But we are developing Kingsland, Georgia, as we speak, and there are other projects that are being worked on in Virginia, upstate New York, and we're looking at other properties. So the expansion is growing rapidly, but we've had experience over the last couple of years in other states where we've had different brands, different things. But right now we're really focusing on the One Way brand, and you can go to onewayhotels.com to kind of get an idea and feel for what we're doing.
All right, very cool. I'll put that link in the comments here in a few seconds. I know you've got a presentation that we can kind of go through. I mean, I'm a strong believer that kind of pictures paint 1,000 words and kind of get you rather than us trying to talk through everything. So let's jump into the slides real quick, and then we can take a look and see what you got.
Absolutely. All right. So why invest in a condo hotel? So if you take a look, as Rich mentioned, we take. I apologize for that. We take a Motel Type 6 room and give it a complete lift. But some of the basics on what is a condo hotel, right? It's a building that legitimately is a condominium from a legal standpoint, but we continue to work as a hotel. Obviously, multiple owners, and the main difference is that during that hotel condo conversion, there will be a property deed for each owner, but we continue to have that essence of a hotel. That is, overall, what is a hotel condo. Now, how does it work? Very simple. The investor purchases one or more units, and then we obviously offer the management of such because we bring that experience. We're able to do volume, and the owner does have the option to manage it themselves. But to this point, after many hundreds of doors that we have gone through and managed, there really hasn't been anybody that would want to take on uh, that responsibility simply because we bring that experience. And then from a profit standpoint, the management company takes care of every single one of the expenses and then equally distributes those among all the units. Like I mentioned, the profit distribution, we collect all the different revenue. We basically pay all the expenses and then distribute profits equitably amongst the owners. And it is a random rent system, so it's important to understand that you don't need to say, hey, I need to have the unit by the pool or the unit by the lobby, because at the end of the day, we do a random rent system, so that way it's equitable across the board. And of course, please take a look at the pictures. You see how we take a complete new, different look to some of those ideas of what you have as a Motel 6, right? This picture that you see, before I get into the description of this slide, that is the actual lobby of the Savannah Hotel. So if you see, very clean, very sleek, very modern, and that is the idea that we kind of have across the board. But the most important point here is that we want you to invest without any worries. You, number one, have a brand that will carry out your investment. So that is an important factor, and we take that obviously into the rooms, and I'll walk through that in a second. But more importantly, that we have a management company that takes care of absolutely everything, from taxes, from expenses, repairs, maintenance. You don't have to really worry about anything. The whole idea is that once you invest and we manage this for you, we're able to not only market the hotel as a whole and be able to push all the units and have a high occupancy rate, where you just have to sit back and relax and kind of collect, right? And Rich, please interrupt me if there's any questions or any comments that you want to throw out there, okay? Or if there's any questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here are one of the other factors that's very important. Typically, when you buy an investment property, you have to think of, even if you're going to Airbnb it or rent it out, you have to think about what you're going to put in there. All the rooms come equipped. And the most important thing is that at the end of the day, you're going to have a deed. It becomes a piece of real estate. If you tell me, Ivan, hey, after a year, this has been great, but I want to sell it, that's something that can go on the market, will have market value, which is an appreciating asset, and you'll be able to do so. So you don't have to worry about equipping the room. You have the opportunity to sell it if you want. And there's some other benefits that you as an investor have. We have hotels currently in Savannah and Brunswick, as I mentioned. Obviously, we're developing Kings in Georgia, which we'll talk a little more about the city in a second. But you also have benefits of enjoying the room. So if you need to stay in Savannah, if you need to stay in Brunswick, there are a certain amount of time that you're allowed during the year at no additional cost, just as part of the benefit of being an investor. Always subject to some blackout dates because we want to maximize occupancy, which I'm sure you guys can understand. But the idea is that you get paid out quarterly based on the return of the hotel that occurs, and we'll talk about returns in a second. The other important part and perks that we have, I think it's important to touch on the fact that we continue to manage it as a hotel. Why do I say that? Because as you know, nightly rates can obviously, number one, be higher than long-term rentals, which makes your ROI a lot better. Number two, we're able to adjust if we need to. So depending on high season, low season, we're able to adjust. And at the same time, because we're offering a very unique boutique type of brand, we can take these types of hotel and go above market and have that value add for the investor while still remaining competitive in the market. So people will say, hey, listen, for the amount of the small difference, I'd rather stay in a much nicer hotel. So it's, at the end of the day, it's a big benefit for the investor. Now, some of these slides are questions and answer. We'll be able to send this slide deck to everybody, and it's available. So I'll go ahead and skip through these. We talked about the property deed. We talked about the management, random rent system. I really want you to take a look at some of the things that we do from a marketing standpoint. We have a whole marketing team that really pushes our online presence. We do various digital marketing campaigns. Obviously, we have a very nice public relations team that kind of puts the brand out there in order to be at the forefront of people that are looking for this type of product. And we obviously maximize our guest experience and establishing strategic relationships with some of the major players as far as hotel.com, booking.com, Expedia, where we want to make sure that we put your product out there in order to maximize that occupancy rate. Now, the other aspect is, because we are doing this management for you, and as well as paying out profits on a quarterly basis, we also send financials, and we also send all our measurements and analysis of what we're doing in the hotel. So you are part of what is happening. It's complete transparency. We want to make sure that you see what everything is being done in order to push the brand out there and obviously maximizing your investment. As I mentioned, please go to onewayhotels.com. Obviously, you can see us on Instagram as well. Obviously, various pictures. I think it's important for you to see. This picture right here is the actual swimming pool for Kingsland. So for Kingsland, we've started on the development of that hotel, worked on the roof, worked on the swimming pool, and we're working in stages to kind of get through that. And this is a little more about the one-way brand. I want you to take a look at it. Obviously, the purchases of all these hotels are very strategic. As Rich mentioned, we want to make sure that we're close to high traffic areas. We're close to the coast. We're close to various industries that require, hotel rooms. So we've always done that. And the 3 properties that right now are in Georgia fit that bill, and we've seen success through it. So Kingsland is another town that is also growing very rapidly and has shown that over the last couple of years. And that's why we were able to move forward with that property. And again, unbeatable location, proximity to the coast. There's a lot of attractive things about Kingsland, and we'll share all this information. But more than anything, it's a growing community. We've seen the hotel already appreciate in the last couple months. So I think it's something that we all have to be very cognitive of, that it's something that is growing very rapidly, and it's a good time to begin. Now, obviously, why choose One Way? One Way, as I mentioned, it is, we come with a whole management company that makes the huge difference. Because one thing is to obviously invest in the product, but then what happens thereafter? So that's why we thought it was a very important piece, not only to find the niche, not only to establish the product, but also have that follow through and making sure that it's being managed the correct way. And at the end of the day, in order to maximize, the investment that we're doing. Some of our spaces. So if you take a look, very minimalistic. We're trying to have simplicity. Meet excellence. And very important, please do go to onewayhotels.com. Obviously, you'll see a lot of additional pictures there. We talked about strategic location. Obviously, all the interiors that we do are brand new, and we really focus on that marketing piece.
Yeah, let me ask a couple questions, Ivan. So I did put the link for the website in the comments section below, so everybody should be able to access the link there. And like Ivan said, there are a lot of more pictures there of the different rooms and the layouts of the current properties. So you mentioned the revenue share concept, and let's just talk about the numbers, right? So as an individual investor, I can invest in one unit or multiple units, but let's say I want to buy one room for the Kingsland location. What's the price for that investment?
So the price that we are on the market for right now is 69,900 for the unit.
So I can invest in that unit. I get the deed to that property. I get the appreciation. As an investor, I'm not locked into any kind of timeline. I can sell that at a later date, whether it's a year later, 2 years, 3 years later, and enjoy the appreciation value as well. Along the way, as I'm getting the revenue share of the rental revenue, you said that's paid out quarterly?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. And what's the average nightly rates, been in the last, 12 months, call it, for the other
Yes.
properties?
So obviously it varies by locations, but we're in the probably I would say in between the $80 and $90 nightly rate. But what's important to understand is that as we begin to sell these units, and whether an investor acquires them or not, we have approximately a period of 9 to 12 months where we're going to be completing the rehab, right? So we started with the roof, we started with the pool. We're doing segments of 20 rooms per section, so to speak. But during that time, what we do is we want to have a full year of remodeling, and then we want to have a full year of operation. And what I mean by that is that what we wanted to do is offer an incentive to the investor through a lease buyback program that basically provides an 8% return during the first 24 months. So independent of whether the first year we're beginning to not operating yet, or we're going through that remodeling, as you make your investment and you purchase your unit, you will have a lease buyback program that will offer you an 8% return for the 24 months. Then thereafter is based on the hotel and what it's doing on an annual basis. But historically, on our other locations, we've seen an oscillating return of between 10 and 12%. So, this is an investment where you come in, you purchase your unit. There is a 4 to 5 month period where we're going from, the hotel to the condominium conversion. Once that is completed, that is when the actual closing for the individual unit happens, and that's where the deed gets assigned. But nonetheless, from the moment that you invest, you're part of a subscription that owns the complete property. So in summary, you're able to get an 8% return through a lease buyback program for 24 months. And then from there, it goes into an average of 10 to 12% return thereafter.
Got it. Chris, I know you visited and I visited the Savannah and Brunswick properties. Tell us a little bit about your experience in checking out the location.
Yeah, I went to Savannah first, right before New Year's. It was a great experience. Have some friends in the area, and like he said, it's a very clean look. I was, pretty impressed with what I saw, and it was a good stay. So I definitely can see why this is a good fit and a good niche. And then I went down to the Brunswick location and then Kingsland, because I wanted to see, take a look at those too. So,
yeah, I mean, what I was very impressed with, Ivan was able to set me up, and I actually spent the night at the Brunswick location. No, I'm sorry, the Savannah location.
Savannah, yes.
But I was able to tour the next day the Brunswick location, and for me, and having seen, obviously the pictures, tell you exactly, it's very consistent, very clean look, very modernized.
right.
And at that price point level, there's really not that many any options for competition, right? So when you start looking at hotel stays that are 120, 130, 140, 150, a lot of the major chains have kind of reshifted and remodeled and upgraded their properties where they're kind of modernized. But when you go below that price point, there's really nothing else in the market, right? So you've got your 65, 75 bucks a night. It's a 20, 30-year-old hotel. It's dated, it smells, it's moldy. And so, that type of traveler is not really able to get any other options unless they start going at 120, 130, 140. So for me, I think, that filling that void and being able to command a premium as a result of that, you're going to basically be able to get a lot more occupancy and more consistent repeat travelers as a result of that as well. And strategically, I think it's pretty cool that you've kind of focused on one corridor. Because you've got people that are going to be traveling there consistently, and definitely, I'm sure you're already starting to recognize kind of repeat business.
Yes, absolutely. And that is one of the things that we want to make sure we focus on: repeat business, that we are a value add, that we're in that price point where you can get a very good value for what you're paying versus having to go to that 120, 140 range, which
Yeah.
obviously it's a different price point.
Right. One thing for the viewers, I know a lot of the B&B Investing Group members, some of which are doing property management in the short-term rental and vacation rental management space. What is your management fee for this opportunity?
So it is a 3%, but it's already included within the cost of the management. So we incorporate that. So it's really nothing that the investor needs to come out of pocket. That is one of the expenses on the P&L line that is already part of the expenses. So at the end of the day, these numbers that I've already shared with you already have that included. The investor doesn't have to come anything out of pocket.
So if the revenue share is, for the month for my unit is, let's say it's 3,000, right? Just to make the numbers easy. I'm basically getting the 3,000 revenue without any ding of the management fee. Is that what you're saying, or?
That is correct. If that is the amount that is proportional to your unit, then that would be the amount. Remember, this is a random rent system and also a pool, so we share amongst the whole hotel. So it's not like one room is going to get rented more. It's across the board. We have that random rent system, and that's why it's not really important which room you get. Meaning, I don't need to have the ocean view or something like that, because it's really across the board. We see it as a complete unit, and that is a bigger benefit for everybody.
All right, awesome. Let's try to attack some of the questions we have in the comments here. Are you agnostic on the state?
No, so we're not. We're focusing right now on Georgia, but also projects in Virginia, New York. So there's definitely some opportunities there that will be coming down the pipe soon. Right now, we are focusing on Kingsland, Georgia, but there will be other projects as well.
All right, cool. And then another question is, do you have a fund to update every amount of number of years? Her prior experience with timeshares is that unless the bylaws delineate that refresh in so many years, they go downhill. Last year, went to see Hilton timeshare in Las Vegas, dated and smelly and bad experience, LOL. So how do you handle future maintenance? That's a great question. That's by Marcy.
Yeah, and it is a very important question. One thing that I do want to make sure that we're very clear on: this is not a timeshare. At the end of the day, this is your property. This is an investment that you're making, that you have your deed, that you can turn around and do what you wish with it. Obviously, you're allowing us to manage it for you as part of the hotel, but it is not a timeshare. And then thereafter, the one of the key points within the management is obviously maintenance and repairs. That is something that we incorporate within the P&L on always allocating for that, because at the end of the day, we're promoting the one-way brand, and we want to make sure that it remains at a high standard. So from a boutique standpoint, that's where we want to focus on.
All right, and there's not like a condo association fee like there typically would be with a regular condo?
That is correct, no.
Okay, good. All right, the last question I have here is, can I direct my customers to my room or to my unit? And
so go ahead.
So I guess we kind of covered that with the fact that it's in a pooled environment. And so you could probably definitely promote the location and you would still take advantage of the increased revenue that way, but there's no advantage to being specific to that room or that location. Now, I guess the same question, Ivan, if I invest in my one unit and I want to go stay, do I have to go stay in my unit, or I can stay in any unit?
No, you can stay in any unit. Not only that, of the hotel, but you can also go stay in, let's say you own Kingsland and you want to stay in Savannah for any reason, that is also an opportunity.
So it's like a reciprocal across the other locations.
Yes, I guess
Love
that's
it.
maybe where that timeshare becomes a little confusing, but it's not. It's really just a perk that we've decided as a developer to provide to our investors.
All right, awesome. So we're running a little bit tight on time today, guys. I really appreciate folks that have tuned in. I'm going to put my calendar link in the comments. For those of you that are interested to get a little bit more details and possibly if you wanted to schedule a tour, if you happen to be in that area, or if you want to just get a little bit more details on the opportunity, feel free to use my calendar link there, schedule a one-on-one. I'll loop Ivan and Chris in as well, and we can kind of dive into some more details. But Ivan, Chris, thank you so much for jumping on and spending some time with us this week.
Thank you
Thanks
for
so
having
much,
us, Rich.
for having us.
All right, awesome. And just a quick reminder, B&B Investing Group, we work with investors to help them scale a short-term rental business with Airbnb. So if that's you and you're ready to take some action, feel free to reach out to me directly on that same calendar link as well. Thanks again, guys, and we'll talk soon. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Signing off. Have a good day. Good evening.
All right.